Welcome, anglers. Today I want to talk about weekend angling and tournament angling. Today we're at a pond, a local pond. A good friend of mine, Malin, allows me to fish. But some people, like myself, growing up, used to think that in order to be a good bass fisherman, I had to fish big lakes on a bass boat, have all the best tackle. That's actually not true. You can find ponds like this. Right there in the pond. All right. And people that own them that are good people. And if you talk to them with respect and respect their land, many times they'll let you fish them. I know that this pond right out here holds big fish. I mean, it's been stocked in the past, stripers, but bass, bluegill, and catfish, big catfish, big bass. But spending time on this lake, fishing with the tackle that you have, if all you've got is plastic worms, that'll work. You spend time perfecting that plastic worm, and you can catch big bass on these ponds. You can go from farm to farm. Sometimes you find them by factories. Different pieces of land have ponds. Just make sure that you have permission and show respect for the landowners. But see, once you fish on this for a while and you perfect those different techniques, plastic worms, crankbaits, spinner baits, whatever you want to use, you can take that as you start to expand in tournament fish. You can use that to compete. You can use that to compete. All those skills you put together, and eventually you get a big boat, but you can start out with just a John boat. I fished many tournaments and was successful fishing out of a 14-foot John boat that I put a little bit of time and effort in, decks, live well, things like that, before I ever started fishing any bigger tournaments. Since then, I have a bigger boat and I fish bigger tournaments. But there's nothing wrong with ponds like this. Going out on the weekend, spending time with your friends and family, take your family down, you can have a great time perfecting those skills and becoming a bass tournament that is above average for sure. Most of us, when we're talking to somebody else that's bass fishing, we say, "Yeah, are you any good? You know, if you like to compete." And what's the answer they give usually? Well, they say, "Well, yeah, I'm above average." That's how you get above average. When you can compete when you're above average. These guys that are fishing professionally, they're good. I'm not saying they're not. But they're people just like you and me. They eat beans and rice. Maybe some of them don't like beans and rice, but you know what I mean. But most of them started out on ponds just like this. Same type of structure in these ponds as in the big lakes. They have contours, coves, stumps, you name it. There's holes in here that are deep. Same thing. It's just a bigger, wider expanse when you're on a big lake. Another thing I want to mention to you is tackle. I know that all of us bass fishermen, we're tackle junkies out there, that's for sure. I mean, I just went to a show and I spent 50 bucks on tackle, and I have enough tackle to fish, but I bought 50 bucks more. And the next time I go, I'll probably buy another 50 bucks. That's just the way we are. Same thing with fishing rods and fishing reels. Not only the tackle, but use different rods and reels. We like to have many different types. And I have some that I've gotten at the local store, the mart that everybody goes to. But I also have some that I bought at the big bait stores, expensive and less expensive. You can start out with either one. You can be above average using a $20 Shakespeare, and you could be above average using a $180 Daiwa. I've got them all. The ones that I seem to have a better fishing, though, honestly, is the ones that are a little bit better quality. They cast a little better. The action is a little better on the rods. For example, Ardent reels. I like to use Ardent reels. Very smooth, cast a long ways. They have specific reels for specific types of techniques. But I may end up pairing them up with a rod that isn't top of the line, or a $180 rig, it may be a $20 Shakespeare. But if you got a good reel and put good line on it, you can learn these techniques on these small ponds just the same, and you can become an angler that's above average.
Road, main crossroad. In 1,000 feet, you will arrive at your destination.
With millions of songs at your fingertips, your playlists are always a work in progress. With Spotify Premium, listen to your music without hearing ads to keep your musical exploration going 24/7. Upgrade to Premium and listen your way.
All right, guys, I wanted to give you guys another example of what I was talking about with small ponds or bodies of water that you can practice on. We just come out to, if you check your local state parks, many times they have a small body of water that might be near you. This one happens to be somewhat close to me. Let me show it to you. There's been 4, 5, 6 pound bass caught here. Nice little boat ramp right on down. Yeah, I got a funny story. I brought my Triton down here. First time I'd been down here. Backed it in the water, launched, fished down this bank over here, went to that whole side over there, got halfway down, turned around, looked at my boat, and had 4 inches of water in there. Rookie move, forgot to put the plug in it. I know, we've all done it once or twice, but man, I felt like a dummy. Anyway, I just wanted to tell you, it's really okay to come to these places because many times they're fantastic fishing. You can come out here, and as I was saying at that local farmer's pond, you practice those techniques. That's how you get good. You do that on these waters, then as you perfect those techniques, you get better. Then you want to compete. At least a lot of people do. Some people don't. That's okay too. I like to compete. I've always been competitive. I like to fish competitively. Played darts, played baseball. I mean, you name it. Sports. Like to be competitive. But some don't, and that's okay. Some like to just come out and have a good time, bringing their family, bringing their kids. It's really important to bring kids out and teach them how to fish. Not only does it keep it going for the future of fishing, but when you get kids involved in something besides video games, which video games can be fun too, in moderation, but you get them involved in something where they can get out of the house, they look forward to catching that big fish. They come out here and they try to catch those big fish, and they may not catch a big one, but if they catch a little one and they start coming fishing more often, keeps them out of trouble. Always remember, make sure you're legal. A lot of these state parks, they're monitored by Fish and Game, police officers. And right here we have a Fish and Game officer coming up right now. I'm glad to see him. How you doing? Yeah. We'd like to ask you a few questions about the lake here.
Yeah. What I know I can answer, what I don't.
Cool.
I know it's way low right now though.
All right guys, I'm here with Officer Burton. He's the Department of Fish and Game Conservation Officer here in Indiana. And right now he's patrolling out here at Martindale. I've heard there's a lot of big fish caught here at Martindale. I fished a few times and I've caught some decent fish, but I've heard 6 pounders and up.
I can confirm one that went on the scale. I think it was 701 or 708, somewhere in that 7 pound range. Caught right off of this, right off the boat ramp. deep water on a crankbait. Can't tell you what crankbait, but
Yeah,
he
that's the
showed
key,
me a
right?
picture of him holding the scale. I could see it was right here, 7 plus.
Nice.
He had several that were in the 5 range.
Just off the bank?
Nope. So he has a little what you call those boats? Not like it's not a foot pedal one, but he just a small rectangular boat that he puts a
Like one of those pond skipper, little pontoon
kinda
type
like
thing?
that, yeah. And he puts a trolling motor on it. And obviously, when you put a trolling motor in there, you
Nice.
gotta get it all registered and all that.
Right.
But he puts it out here a lot. He said he likes to fish before the warm up. So that early springtime.
So was that recently?
That was last year. Yeah,
Last year. Was it this time of year last year?
It would have been, probably. I think it was March or April is what I think is.
Got it.
Kind of his time frame. But yeah, really good fish in here. We actually had a fish kill last year, last July, that killed a lot of the panfish. But we have since the state has put in a ton of catfish, and I can't remember exactly.
913.
Sorry about that. They put in some bluegills as well, I believe. So after that fish kill, they restocked this. So I don't know how many fish we lost, but it was somewhere around the 5 to 1,000 range.
Well, did you know why the fish kill happened?
It was just, I think, natural turnover of the pond. We had some rain and then some real warm, humid weather, and that rain hit, and I think that was kind of that's the best we could figure out. There was nothing testing in the water or anything like that. So
Well, that happens sometimes.
yep, it does, and that's unfortunate, but we didn't see I didn't find a single largemouth bass at all.
In the kill, you didn't see any
Not a
largemouth.
single one. Yep. So it was all bluegill, crappie, some little shiner.
We were out here a couple days ago. There was probably about 25 or 30 dead shiners over in that corner.
Yeah.
But they die this time of year anyway.
Yeah. Sad. It's cold weather.
So as I was saying earlier, at a farm pond you can catch them, and learning the techniques will do it, but check your maps, because your state probably has some ponds near you that are well taken care of. Proof is right here. Listen to Officer Burton talk about how they just stocked it, plus he monitors it. So you don't have to worry about riffraff out here either.
For the most part.
All right, guys, I just took a little break to talk to the conservation officer. He's a good guy. He was just telling me and telling us about how they stocked and everything after a fish kill, but there was no bass in the fish kill, and that's pretty interesting. It was mostly panfish, bait fish, and a few catfish, but no bass. But when they did stock the bass, when they did restock it, they stocked it with bass fingerlings. So just another pointer for some state properties and state ponds in your area and how good they can be, especially right here off the ramp. Right out there is where that big one's supposed to be caught. Now I could bring my rod out here and cast a few baits, see if we get one, but I'm just here spending time with you guys, letting you guys get to know me, and I look forward to talking to you next time we go fishing, or next time we're in a tournament. I'll bring you with me. God bless you. Talk to you later.